Welcome back to the Martinez Report. It's me, JP, and today we have a special guest,
Linda Martinez.
And today we'll be reacting to a new Jubilee video titled One Conservative versus 20 Feminists, featuring the one and only Candace Owens. Let's get to it.
Hi, my name is Candace Owens. I am a podcaster, a mother, a wife, and also the author of the upcoming book, Make Him a Sandwich. And today I am surrounded by 20 feminists. My first claim is that the sexual revolution has devalued women and made them infinitely less happy.
She was like, she just locked eyes.
Oh, she's actually a smart girl. I'm not a fan, but she's actually very intellectual.
She looks, yeah.
She debated Jordan Peterson, and she did a good job.
So we start with the beginning. Do you identify as a female?
I identify as a woman, yeah.
Okay.
Right. So I do want to get back to your premise. You're saying that women have been devalued, right, by the sexual revolution. This kind of presumes two things. One, that there has been a loss of worth, right, for women. So you're saying that women have, as...
That's actually what she's saying, because when you... So basically the point that Candace might make, because I kind of watch her a little bit, is saying that before getting married was like a goal in life because it was so sacred to like get married to a woman. But nowadays you could like pay $5 and you have like all access to a woman. So it's basically like a worth of a woman is $5.
I would say that, yes, women have devalued themselves by becoming overtly sexual. That's my claim. So, I mean, also
according to society.
Let's not remove this from the other part of the claim, which that as it has made women infinitely less happy.
I actually have one to make because she's like being all weird about it, but it's true. So what I want to know your opinion because you're a girl. So basically, would you want to be with a guy who's had 30 girlfriends before you? No, exactly. So she's saying, oh, it matters. Oh, it does matter because people actually like pay attention. If you've been married 5 times before and you got divorced 5 times, meaning that you probably have a problem.
Exactly.
It's not like you are desirable anymore.
That's the issue. When it gets to a certain extent, it's like, what is wrong with you that like you just keep going through every single person? It's like you could also compare two people. One person that has so many bodies and a person that's a virgin. Like you would both stereotype them, and they both have like a background that you instinctively like decide in your brain. You'll be like, if the virgin, you'll be like, oh, this person's just more conservative, it's just less of a party person. And then one with like so many bodies, you'd be like, oh, this person's maybe a little crazy, is all out there, you know, this and that.
Exactly. So it lowers your chance of actually finding a partner.
My second claim is that no career will give women as much joy and fulfillment as raising children.
What do you think?
That one is a tough one because I feel like, okay, I agree with her because I think that raising children is like a beyond like joy, but I do think that you can find so much joy and fulfillment in your career too because that's your passion. But I think it's just like they're two different scenarios for me.
So you're saying that, I guess what I would interpret it is just find a balance and you're good?
Right,
or
find a balance.
Learning to differentiate at what point in your life is more important?
Yeah, at what point in your life do you want to start raising children versus, like, kids? I mean, your career.
Not her. Not her. Not her.
She got
it. You've seen her before, right? We've seen her before.
I'm excited to see her.
Yeah. Amala from Sheen.
Dupe.
Nice to meet you.
Tamu.
Okay, so currently,
Timu.
women make up
Timu.
about 37% of the workforce.
57% of the workforce.
Is that true?
47% of the workforce.
Don't be lying.
What's 10%?
To be at home. Why don't they?
Because we've made that due to prior feminist waves nearly impossible because now
She's saying, why do women
the
choose
reason
to
that
work?
The government wanted women to enter the workforce is because it gave them an opportunity to tax a household twice.
Okay, so I hear that.
Yeah.
At the same time, would you not agree that women can both have a career and have children? I mean, you are actively doing that right now.
And I want to be very clear because I am actively doing it right now. I would be someone that you would call an exception because I get to work from home. I get to wake up in the morning. I don't have a boss, right? I don't have to go into the office from 9 to 5. I get to then therefore spend the entire morning with my children.
Like, I don't know why everyone's acting like Candace is saying, don't work. She never said that. She's saying you will have more fulfillment from having a family. She's never made a claim, women, don't work. Women, like sell your bank account, stay at home, don't work. She clearly
be lazy.
Yeah, she's one of the most successful business people in conservative media. She's not saying don't work. She's saying don't forget about having a family. Don't devalue having a family because
And
you're gonna
also
lose the opportunity to do so.
prioritize it because it's important.
Exactly. She's telling all these young people, like, hey, she's not gonna tell them to leave college, don't get a degree. She's saying do it, but don't forget that you also don't have an unlimited amount of time to have a family, and that it's not like a bad thing. Family's like a really good thing.
You're an exception, and the 47% of women that make up our labor force are also an exception?
No, the exact opposite. So I'm trying to make it more realistic because I think it's really bad form when people who are able to stay at home, right, and are able to start working at 1:00 p.m. as I do after being around their children, the children are around all day, will then preach to you that every woman can have this. That's not the reality. If you measure up at the end of your life, what brought you more fulfillment, your career or a children, raising children in your family, we will discover that, and there actually have been studies, people that have gone to people on their deathbeds, and the number one regret that people have was that they gave too much to their careers. And this includes men. You will be more fulfilled if you focus on
you
trying
don't get to decide what
family.
other people are fulfilled by.
Okay, I'm making my claim here that women are infinitely more fulfilled in the household and raising children than they are taking that 9-to-5 job.
But you have no evidence of that. In fact, you are evidence against your own claim.
I'm not evidence against my own claim. You don't think you can have it all.
It sounds like you're devaluing women. I think that women can do everything that a man can do, and men have done this historically throughout time and memoriam.
I think women is our debate topic today.
Right.
So
but I mean,
focus on women.
In a society with men, we are comparing
women are trying to be both women and men, and that is why women are unhappy today. Is because actually, what's quite ironic about the feminist movement is that
women are just trying to be people.
I think women have been taught that being a woman is not enough, and that you have to also aspire to be a man. And
okay, so let's say,
and it's true. Like when I was younger, I thought that they were the same, but they actually are very biologically different. And people like try to disprove it, but it's like even our sister Mia knows who is in her engineer class. What's the majority?
Men.
Exactly. My sister's like many times the only girl in that class. That's not a bad thing. It's just saying that women usually choose different things. It's been proven that women are significantly more emotional. You go to a therapist, it's most likely a woman, and that's just the way it is. And you don't really see women in the construction sites. With
or
the
like
hard
nurses,
hat.
it's usually women.
A lot of it, yeah. So I'm saying like there is a difference, and it's not a bad thing. But to not point it out is really bad because it sets standards for somebody who. You just don't need to.
Unrealistic standards.
Unrealistic, yeah. You're not going to tell women to, become like a bodybuilder. Like, there are exceptions,
exactly,
of course.
Yeah.
But to completely say that they're the exact same level, it's just wrong.
Even if you were to become a bodybuilder, women there know that they will never achieve what a man can achieve, but they can achieve what a woman can achieve.
Cerebrally, you can, but in terms of like muscle mass, there are differences.
Exactly, right, yeah.
My next claim is that we live under a matriarchy, not a patriarchy.
Sorry, I love her. She's just really funny.
live under a matriarchy, not a patriarchy. What do you think?
I don't know what matriarchy means.
Think of matriarchy as in like Queen Elizabeth. She was the matriarch of England, or Kris Jenner of the Kardashians. She's in charge of everything. Nothing gets past her. She's the one who makes the rules.
I want to hear that guy talk. Oh my god, I called it.
Wow, finally. He was like doing the facial expressions,
He's just
right?
been observing.
I view this
Evan.
argument as a matter of fact, right? This is a descriptive claim about the culture, reality we live in, and patriarchy being a system in which men hold the predominance of power in both political, economic, and social methods of organization. Fundamentally, the claim regarding patriarchy or matriarchy, we are so much closer to where we were just a few decades ago, or a couple generations ago, where women couldn't hold a credit card, than a system where men can't hold a credit card. We're still much closer to that form of society.
Why would you say that we're closer to that? What do you mean by that? Did you just qualify that?
Because in terms of economic power, so for example, household wealth, women own 55 cents to every dollar a man owns.
Who controls household spending, though?
Households,
you talk about how the money's made in America. How is it being spent? Who spends it?
So it's primarily...
Who goes to the shopping mall?
Who buys the groceries?
Yeah, who chooses, where we go, where we stay.
Right.
Sometimes the dad doesn't even go to the trip.
For real. Sometimes the dad stays working so the family can go to the trip.
Yeah, so who in that situation, who would have the more deciding power? Yeah.
Who buys the kids?
Who decides where we go 4th of July? Who decides where you go for the holidays? Who decides all that? We're not just talking from personal experience. All right.
spent by women, as you've noted, but then the money where the profits being
Women
generated.
women are responsible for 70 to 80% of
Exactly.
shopping. Capital One Bank. Oh, Capital One shopping.
CEOs and board.
How are things panning out in family courts? Why are abusive men having access to their children? Like, why are women making less than men? Like, what? I mean, none of that means anything to me.
So that gap, obviously, I'm sure you've recognized the gender gap has been debunked so many times. It's almost foolish to debunk it again.
Well, you could say, yeah, that most women will go into jobs where they're making less, but then it does answer the question of why do we not value women's labor?
It's not
Because they're not doing
labor. It's just
Have you heard the point of the pay gap?
Why?
I mean, so this has been proven. People used to think that women, for every dollar that a man made, women made 70 cents. And people believe that lie for a long time, but then it's not true. Like if you go to ShopRite, I work at ShopRite, you get $16 an hour. If you're a girl, you get $16 an hour as well. They don't look at you and be like, oh, you're a girl, let's give you $15.50. Yeah, if you go to McDonald's, it's the same price. You know, different jobs, a different payment. So Candace Owens says most men go into engineering. You get paid a lot more money than if you want to work for Vogue and, you know, pick out purses. So that's not a pay gap. They're literally paying you for your work. It's a lot harder to be an engineer than to look at a magazine all day and like pick out pictures.
my final claim is that feminism has made things easier for men.
So, like, to a degree, I think that feminism does benefit men. I think that it allows men to be more emotionally intelligent, allows them to understand what that looks like, and also be able to connect with other people, right? But at the same time,
you don't need feminism.
So much work that feminism has done.
You don't need feminism for men to learn how to connect with people. That's
right.
just...
And I think that that is a huge benefit that we can credit to the feminist movement. Though I understand your point, though, of trying to say that, like, sex work is harmful for women and more beneficial for men because they're benefiting from it the most. But at the same time, if you think they're also suffering from it, does that not contradict your point?
Yeah, so I disagree on the fact that, and we do agree that more women
valid.
go to college, more women than men are graduating with college degrees, and despite that, people are saying that we still live under a patriarchy. Women are free to start their own companies. Women are free to pay women whatever they want to pay. Women could hire, and in some cases do hire, all women. Women actually weren't disempowered by being the CEOs of their household.
Well, allowing women to have more choice and freedom and agency to leave.
Sorry, you've been voted out by the majority.
I actually kind of wanted to hear what you had to say.
Yeah, she's
very respectful.
very
Yeah,
respectful.
she was respectful.
Very sweet. She had the power.
They're very contradictory. Saying that we live in a matriarchy, that men benefit from feminism more. I would like to understand why, again, you think that men benefit from feminism more?
Basically, because men don't have to commit to women. Men are still able to do what they're doing, and they are allowed to basically step away from all of the responsibilities of what it really meant to be a man and lead a household. And that's in large part, I think, due to the sexual revolution.
Sex doesn't always have to have this deep meaning. It is just connection and intimacy between two people who trust each other. We're not sockeye salmon. We're not made to breed and have families and then die.
You're welcome to do that. I'm just saying that when it comes time for you to find a partner, you may find yourself in a circumstance where men don't value you as high because men like you spoke to, men like to compete. They like to feel like they've won something.
I'd like to deprive men of that.
Yeah, she doesn't see herself as like anything valuable, which is kind of sad. I don't really want to assume, but she doesn't seem like somebody who we would agree with her lifestyle. But yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, it really comes down to the value part. Like, she doesn't see that the intimacy of, like, two partners is actually something precious and should be sacred. But I think that's not what she believes. It's not sacred.
Yeah, she definitely has a different mentality, and that's just the way she thinks. And, you know, her and Candace have a vehement disagreement.
In a lot of ways, this is just like an observation. You devalue yourself a lot.
I definitely do not feel like I'm devaluing myself.
Make him a sandwich?
Yeah. Yes.
That's the title of her new book, Making a Sandwich. Yeah.
Yes, feed your men and everything.
Actually, you know why she named it that?
Why?
She named it that because you know how I told you she had, you know, feuds with a lot of famous people like Lizzo, like Eminem. She also had a feud with Cardi B because Candace Owens and Cardi B had like a huge feud for many years on on Twitter and social media. And so, because Cardi B said that, Candace Owens, you're a slave to your husband, you're a slave to your kids, because Cardi B is very feminist. And then, because Cardi B, of course, Candace Owens won because Cardi B just got divorced. Her husband cheated on her many times, and now she's like the baby mama because she doesn't have a husband and she has 3 kids that the husband is out there with a different girlfriend. So Candace kind of won that fight. But anyways, what was a big topic was that Cardi B kind of smacked Candace Owens online, saying, you know what, Candace Owens, since you're a slave to your husband, go make him a sandwich. And Candace Owens said, I'm very happy to make my husband a sandwich. I love my family. I make my husband dinner every day.
It's easy to make someone a sandwich when you really love them.
Yeah, Candace Owens saying, that's not a punishment for me. I love to provide for my family.
Right.
And so that's what Cardi B saying, no, I have, servants that cook for me because I'm rich. Well, Cardi B, now you don't have a husband, and now your kids are going to be sad because their dad is out there cheating with a 20-year-old. So Cardi B, maybe, you didn't win that battle.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
What's your name?
I'm Zola Stone.
Very nice to meet you, Zoe. You have very pretty eyes.
Thank you. So you keep talking about OnlyFans and Kim Kardashian and...
She mentioned her once.
Well, I do OnlyFans.
Yeah. That's what I immediately thought she did that. I just felt it in me.
I feel like if you're going to be a feminist, like, don't bring on people who do that. Like, come on. They
have to bring everyone.
I know, but there's some feminists that don't do that. They brought in the extreme ones.
That's what Jubilee does.
I'm mainly a recording artist, but I do that to fund the music. Okay. But
because she doesn't have a career.
Basically, that we kind of devalue ourselves, but at the same time, I'm celibate. I still consider myself a woman of God. And so,
how are you celibate if you do? How are you celibate?
Something is not connecting.
Also, you know what I learned? Celibacy means that you're not gonna have sex ever, point blank, period. Abstinence is you're saving yourself for your man or your wife. So how are you celibate? So she just doesn't want to have intimacy.
So she's doing content by herself?
Right, I'm assuming.
Okay, well, it's not. But she's a child of God, apparently.
She's holy.
I don't know, man.
Just let her live in her holiness.
I'm definitely curious to see what she has to say, because that, I felt like a lot of
that was
contradictions there.
Very contradicting.
Is out there just, oh, hey, showing the goods, we do respect our bodies still. So I don't like that you kind of putting us all in one box.
I think the way that she respects her body is by letting people purchase her body, and then once they purchase it, they deserve to obtain my body, when you actually are just devaluing yourself.
Right.
Yeah. So we have to, in order to have debates, we have to make generalizations. Of course, there can be some exceptions to the rule. But what I'm trying to understand is, how can you say that you're not, giving up your body if you are a stripper?
Well, because I said I'm celibate. I still want to get married. I still want to have kids. And for some of us, it's hard for us to have kids.
This is not even a taboo. If you do that lifestyle, you're most likely never going to get married. It's sad. And not even just husband. Would you want your kids to go to school and then have people have access to that? No. It's you're setting up everyone around you for failure. So yeah, no one's gonna want to marry that. Let's be so for real.
Did you decide to be a stripper because of economic restraint or because of freedom?
For freedom, we want.
No, because she earlier she said the reason why she started it is because it funds her music production.
No one aspires to go into sex work. Let's be so for real. No one's when I grow up, I'm I'm gonna go into that industry.
Yeah.
But no, people do it. Cardi B famously did it because she didn't have any money. No one aspires to be that. Everyone does it because it's fast money for a short amount of time. And this woman even admitted it, didn't she? To fund her music earlier, career.
And then now that they pinpoint her to stab her,
now she's oh, actually, this is my dream.
Yeah,
I love doing it.
This is what I want to do.
With our bodies, I don't think it matters if you do want to dress how you want to dress.
I think most of the people who are making those decisions are doing it because they're dealing with addictions themselves. I think you're worth more than taking your clothes off. I think that if you wanted.
Candace is such a kind soul, and everybody is so broken, and so
I think it's just they're broken people sometimes, most of the time. She ended it. I'm not judging.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
New person.
Candace.
You brought up a book about that we are going to biology. I would argue that our biology does not have as much of an effect on the things that we choose to do with our careers, with our life choices, as you think it does. Mm-hmm. Our closest ancestors are chimps and bonobos. Bonobos are matriarchal, chimps are patriarchal.
I don't know if we agree with that, but
I love how she so casually said it. Our ancestors are chimps. Like,
you know, the little chimps in the trees.
Young girls are given dolls. Young boys are put in sports. These things that kids learn at a very early age are very impactful in what children like and pursue in the future.
So, and I'll tell you why I disagree. And I know because I had my children back to back that there's a blur here. So I never had to separate them and say, you play with this, you play with that. They were growing up with their toys. I mean, 1 year apart, my daughter and my son. They just are interested in different things. And this is one of the, I think, lies of feminism. And when you actually have children, there may be some exceptional child, but I am telling you, my boy's first word was car. He's obsessed with trucks. He's obsessed with cars. I don't like having to answer his questions about cars. I don't like having to answer his questions about trucks. That's when they make these arguments that you're making, you think that that's real. You think, oh, well, it's just because you're not giving the child the Barbie doll that they don't love Barbie dolls. And that's not a reality. We are just quite literally different.
There are many...
Yeah, this is the final where she chooses one person to debate for 10 minutes of any topic of their choice.
The person that I liked, which one was the calm one? I think she was wearing like a blue, I think.
Ooh, I forgot.
That one, the Asian. Jillian or something.
Her? Or
the blue one. Yeah, the one next to the gray.
Oh. I wonder who she's gonna pick.
I am going to choose Jenny to have a further
I knew it. Jenny, I was right.
And I want
she liked Jenny. I like Jenny.
From the differences. And I think she is probably the best equipped person to get that done.
My claim is that I believe feminism is wrongly interpreted as anti-men when it benefits both men and women.
It's a great claim. I like.
But shouldn't feminism inherently benefit women? That's like the point of feminism. But if it benefits men, that means something is failing.
When you look at the messaging that's coming out from
Wait. I actually have a point. This actually bothers me because this reminds me of a point where somebody online was arguing with me because they were like fighting for they were like a trans person and they wanted to fight for in the name of feminism. And I said, if you're trans, meaning you were born a guy and you're a trans woman, then why are you trying to fight for feminism? If anybody, because if you're trans, then you're saying that anybody can be a woman. So if anybody can be a woman, then feminism doesn't exist. Because then there's no point. You shouldn't call it, just say, I don't know, rights for all or something. You can't say feminism, and then, which is made for women, and then include everybody. Apparently it benefits trans women, and now apparently men. She said it was her claim. So it doesn't make any sense.
When we look at historically what feminism does, it's actually trying to bring women at an equal level to men, give them the same opportunities and options as men, and also not receive the same judgment that men do for the same actions. And so I believe that when men are exposed to more female role models, when men are exposed to more feminine, more feminist leaning women, they actually have higher quality of life. They have deeper conversations that they can have with their loved ones. All the men that I know in my life are feminists, and it is because they are feminists that we all have a beautiful community and beautiful friendships.
Yeah, so I would actually even expand it to say that not only is feminism hostile to men, but it's also very hostile to women. And I think you saw a lot of example of that today, where there seems to be a reaction when a woman says children are beautiful. It's like, oh my God, how dare you say that, like having a child? And it's like, why is there this instant reaction to people that are traditional? And you see that when we have a society which is really kind of being dominated by what I would call like this hyper sexual character, like of the Kim Kardashian prototype of feminism, weighed against the other extreme, which would be like the Lena Dunham types who are coming out. Lena Dunham's much more the F men forever. Kim Kardashian is kind of the, when I was saying like, come get everything for free. It just shows you that there is fundamentally a hatred for tradition, and I think that hatred is being bred into women. And ultimately, when you find those women at 50 who have chased their careers, it has been my experience, and they don't have family, that they suffer from tremendous unhappiness if they've missed.
That's true. I don't know if you heard famously.
I know.
So famously funny, but famously, the actress from Friends, Jennifer Aniston, she is, she famously cried on interviews because she focused on her career. She was in Friends for like 10 years, and then after that, she wanted to build her career. She was in movies, shows.
Been a star.
She reached 40 and she couldn't have kids. She wanted to have kids at 40. and she realized medically she could never have kids. So yeah, she prioritized her career. She's a millionaire. She's very successful, but now she will never have a biological kid, and that's pretty sad.
It goes back to the prompt that was like, raising children is more fulfilling than a career can ever do.
Right. And, you know, she has all the money in the world, but she can never have a biological kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's sad.
Window of opportunity to start a family.
I mean, I would like to disagree with that point that feminism is hating on the trad wife life. I think there is a misrepresentation of that life that's being fed to people. For example, people like Nara Smith and Ballerina Farm they're social media content creators. That is their job, right? So it's not that they're just a stay-at-home mom. Content creation itself, as I'm sure you're aware, is also a job, right? So
right, but that's
actually fully trad wives. They also are working.
Yeah, but nobody is, when they say trad wives in 2025, no one's referring to the 1920s trad wives. Right. Like this Candace Owens, Nara Smith, that are actively home with their kids, not hiring nannies, not sending them off to daycare for the whole day, not going on business trips for a month and coming back and being like, hey, kids, I'm back. That's not, like, they're not referring to women not working. They're referring to being able to have a balance and prioritizing what you want to prioritize, and remembering that, you know, if you can have kids, but if you don't take care of them, they're going to grow up and not have any relationship with you. Or, you know, you can not have kids at all and be like Jennifer Aniston. So no one's referring to the very, very old version of trad wives. Mm-hmm. They're referring to the new version where you can do both, but remember that there are priorities. And you can see that in celebrities all the time. They quit their shows because they're like, wait, my kids are growing up and I'm missing the time with them. Like James Corden, he quit like 2 years ago because he realized that my kid was 13, 14, and I never spent a summer with you because I was working. So he's like, I'm gonna, you know, I can work till I'm 80, but I'm not gonna have the childhood years with you. Exactly. So he quit his job, and more people are realizing that. And so that's like a good thing, because, you know, you only have like a set number of years, and then they're gone. So, you know, and you can always have a career. There's people being directors at 98, 95. So you can always do it. The president is 78. You don't have to, you know, do all this stuff when you're 20. You have plenty of time. You can have, you know, just have a family and you're good.
But that they are marketing this lifestyle that is not attainable by everybody. It's not feasible, and I think you agree with this too, to be spending 8 hours cooking, like, I don't know, chocolate chip cookies from scratch where you've harvested the cocoa yourself. You know what I mean? And it's not feasible.
Nara Smith is a bit extreme.
That's only Nara Smith.
No one's saying you have to do that.
Even in her own videos, she does it, one, because she has the time, because she's a traditional wife. 2, because she, like, wants to do it. She doesn't have to. And, like, 3, also, isn't she, like have allergies or something? And
right. And she also says that she does have helpers that helps her behind the camera, filming, editing. She's not like, you know, it is her job, but it's not like, we're not saying everybody has to be Nara Smith, because that's a bit extreme to ask that. You know, like, come on. No one's saying, Candace Owens never brought up Nara Smith. She brought up Nara Smith. So, you know.
In our current economic system, right? And maybe that's what people want, and that's great. And I don't think feminism is the one that's telling you shouldn't want this. I disagree with that strongly. I think feminism is telling you that if you want to pursue that, that's great. That's for you.
I've never met a feminist that didn't find a problem with the trad wives, and that's my point. Is that it's this illusion.
Well, you're meeting one now. Because as
soon as I said something traditional, everyone rejected. I said you will get more purpose and I think that's joy from raising you get joy from raising a child, and everyone acted like when I said you get joy from raising a child, like I had stabbed them in the chest.
But not everybody wants marriage, and not everybody wants a relationship.
I think overwhelmingly. Women do want the safety of a relationship and a happy home. For sure. And I think that feminism lies to you and tells you that you don't until it's too late. And that is what I do a lot of work trying to get women to understand.
Yeah, no, and I understand that you're trying
I'm sorry, that's time. I do apologize.
So what do you think of the video?
The video was actually not as chaotic as I thought it was going to be. Not as definitely controversial to what we believe in, but like not too out of order. And I really like Jen. Candace pretty much held her ground the entire video. There weren't that many bombastic moments, but I'd say it was a very interesting video. Alright guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.